It was a calm Saturday afternoon on the ranch, the kind of day where even the wind seemed to take a break. The horses grazed lazily by the fence. The sun painted golden streaks across the fields, and I was in my workshop fine-tuning an old safe I'd recently acquired. It wasn't just any safe. This thing was a retired federal evidence vault, the kind once used by the FBI in one of their older field offices. It was heavy, sealed with dual authentication, a biometric scanner and a 12-digit combination. I'd bought it legally through a government auction, mainly because I loved vintage tech and secure engineering. But to Karen, our ever-curious, self-appointed queen of the HOA, it looked like something far more suspicious. Around 4 p.m., I noticed her standing across the dirt road, squinting at me through binoculars. Normally, I ignored her. She had a habit of monitoring what she called community compliance. But when I saw her phone come out and her lips move, I knew she was calling someone. 10 minutes later, she marched up to my gate, clipboard in one hand and a smug expression on her face. "Mr. Walker," she began, "we've received several anonymous reports that you're storing, let's just say, unregistered items on your property." I raised an eyebrow. "Anonymous reports? From your binoculars, maybe?" She ignored the jab. "As an HOA officer, I'm entitled to inspect any storage structure on this property for community safety." "Karen," I said, keeping my tone even, "this is private land. The HOA has no authority here. Now turn around before you regret it." She smirked. "We'll see about that." That evening, I went into town for supplies. When I returned an hour later, my security alert went off, motion in the workshop. I opened the app, and there she was on camera. Karen inside my ranch, standing in front of the safe. She had somehow slipped through the gate, found the workshop, and was now fiddling with the combination dial like she was in a heist movie. "Oh, Karen," I muttered, switching on the external speakers. "Step away from the safe." She froze, looked up at the nearest camera, and hissed, "This isn't your safe. I saw the federal logo. You stole it." I sighed. "Karen, it was bought at a legal auction. Now leave before this gets serious." But she didn't. She grabbed a wrench from my tool rack and hit the keypad. The biometric scanner beeped and locked the system entirely. Then, and I swear this happened, she called 911 herself. When the deputies arrived, I was waiting outside with my phone in hand. Karen stormed out of the workshop, pointing at me like she'd caught a fugitive. "Officers, this man has stolen government property. He has a federal safe full of evidence in his garage." The deputy glanced at me. "You have a safe, Jackson?" I nodded. "Yup. Bought it legally from the Federal Asset Recovery Division. I have the paperwork right here." Karen crossed her arms, sneering. "Forgery. He's hiding something. That's why I had to check it myself." The deputy rubbed his temples. "You broke into his property?" Karen's tone went shrill. "I was performing an inspection. For national security. That did it." Even the deputy couldn't help but laugh. "Ma'am, you just admitted to breaking into private property and tampering with federally certified equipment. That safe still has an FBI tracking seal. Do you know what that means?" Her face went ghost white. I added, "It means you didn't just break into my workshop. You technically tampered with a federal asset still under record." Within 30 minutes, 2 unmarked SUVs pulled up. Real federal agents stepped out, calm, professional, and clearly annoyed that they'd been called to the middle of nowhere because a neighborhood busybody thought she'd uncovered a national conspiracy. They verified my paperwork, scanned the serial number, and confirmed everything was above board. Then they turned to Karen. "Ma'am," one of them said dryly, "you interfered with a piece of federal property still on record. That's a serious offense. You'll be coming with us." Karen shrieked. "You can't arrest me. I'm part of the HO." The agent raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, the HOA doesn't outrank the FBI." She was escorted to their vehicle, still protesting, while the rest of the neighborhood peeked out from their porches. Word spread fast. Karen broke into a federal safe and got detained by real agents. By the next morning, HOA leadership sent out a message. Effective immediately, Karen has been suspended indefinitely pending investigation for unauthorized activity and endangering the community's reputation. Now the safe sits quietly in my workshop, humming softly, still bearing a small dent from her wrench. I kept the security footage, of course. It's my favorite thing to show visitors. Sometimes, when I pass by it, I can't resist pressing the intercom and saying, "Access denied, Karen."